Absolutely. Thanks. So it appears that I can't share everything. I can only share what I'm sharing. So, real quick, what I'll do in the meantime is create a quick slide Google on the fly. Basically, this is the Velociraptor presentation. It's going to go over Velociraptor and other things. And I wish this window didn't just do. Uh, I'm gonna change my window really quick to see if I can do the entire green. So here we go, and I'm changing screens. Cool. So this way I don't have to do this Google slide thing. I've already got a slide here. Cool. All right. So back to the slide. Actually, way back to the beginning. So here we are. So thanks everyone for attending my talk. What we're going to talk about today is Velociraptor and other things. And to that end, we've got these things that I will be talking about on the agenda. So I'll be talking about Cyberforce, kind of what that is, and then how I use Velociraptor at Cyberforce to help students learn about Velociraptor. And then we'll go ahead and cruise around Velociraptor a little bit and take a peek at a CTF review. And specifically, the CTF is from, I think it's from somebody at Rapid 7. I can't remember exactly who, but they did a CTF at Black Hat, I believe. And I just am going to go over a couple of their things in there. So hopefully this is all great. So those are the only two slides I have. There you go. 1, 2. Well, that's great. So as promised, the first thing we'll go into is Cyberforce. So Cyberforce is this competition that's put on by the Department of Energy, and it's pretty much a workforce development competition. I believe that's probably how they get their money and grant to fund the competition, is by saying it's a workforce development type thing. I have a hunch. I've seen some things out there, and so that's my hunch. Anyways, so what it is a pretty much uh, the students get to learn about OT, IT, mostly things in the energy sector like electricity and dams that also is used to power electricity and other things. So you can go to the competition. So if you go Cyberforce, there's actually a site. You go here, and it just got done this last weekend. So it's typically in November around the first weekend every year. I've been attending this for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or something like that. I've specifically been on the red team, developing stuff for them. And um, typically they'll take all sorts of volunteers. So let's see, can I find volunteers? Here's volunteers. Volunteers, so you can volunteer to be on the red team. You can be on the green team, which I think is they act like they're business users and they talk to the students about business things like, hey, I can't get to my email or something like that. They have scoring assistants where they score the students' presentations, for instance, or their documentation on implementing a sim or something to that effect. So it's pretty well-rounded event, I would say. And I mostly sit in the red team dev area. And to that point, I'll go ahead and actually let me copy and paste this, put it in the text for our meetup group. Oh, that's general. I'll put it in the meetup text next to that awesome cup that Sean provided. That's awesome. And then I'll also put in this video, which I am very surprised is still up. They typically take these down, but they've got a bunch of commentary over the event where they talk about the event, and they've got all those students in the background there. Typically, the red teamers are in a different room than these blue teamers are in, and it's a much smaller crowd of red teamers. Yeah, so on your off time, take a look at this stuff as you will, but we'll go ahead and dip into, this is the red team dev playbook area. And so we utilize GitLab, and in here we had to come up with like around typically it's like 10 to 20 plays each year is what we come up with, and then we kind of curate them to what we want to end up with. And so what we're going to talk about, and we usually it's on a Saturday is when this event is, and so that's why it's labeled Saturday. Um, but we'll probably do play number 1, which as you can see right here is the Run the Velociraptor on a Windows 2022 to find out about this ISO attack and this other attack. Then there's this neat, I don't know if anybody knows how to do this in GitLab. This is pretty awesome. This expand collapse area is pretty neat. And so we try to give everything that the red teamer will need to communicate with the blue team and to do the exploit. So like, for instance, there's like an instant message area, most likely a Discord, where the red team would say, hey, blue team, what's going on? And this and that. And basically they would have to say, hey, can you follow these directions? You click on the directions and we'll pretend like, hey, we're the blue team. So the blue team would get this and be like, okay, Velociraptor on Windows. All right, what does that mean? So they'll look at lab 1, they'll step into lab 1 like this, and they'll see that the goal is just to start up a Velociraptor. So cool, right on. That should be easy. And then I go into like, what is Velociraptor? And then some reference information just in case they want to learn more about it. And the GitHub where you can get the binary. And then I jump into the step-by-step guide. So with that though, also being on the red team dev, so before the blue team even gets images, so this is a little interesting. So other competitions do it differently, but this competition, we get a bunch of images, we put a bunch of vulnerabilities in it, and then we run a bunch of plays for it, and then they're cloned out, and then they're sent to the blue teams to have like, I think 2 weeks potentially ahead of time. So they could go through it, look at all the vulnerabilities, mitigate it, and report on it, which I think is pretty cool. Give them some time. There's been some other competitions out there where it's like, basically they get the image the same time the red team is allowed to like attack it. And so they don't have any time to like prep themselves against the attack. And so it's a little more heated, but in Cyberforce, it's not like that. In Cyberforce, they have some time to mitigate. However, we do have some what we call like assume breach boxes that they don't get 2 weeks ahead of time that we get to do certain plays with. But anyway, so this is what I did for them on their box so that it would make it really easy for them. So basically, I pre-installed Velociraptor. I made a bat script that they just had to click on this run as administrator deal, and it was just start running stuff. So like if I remove this, so let's just go in. So this, let me make this smaller. So we're in a Windows environment and we can pretend because it's not the Cyberforce one, but it's the one that I did development. I have my own infrastructure that I do development in. And then once I get it done, I try to do it in their environment and then work out all the kinks and then rewrite documents to so that everybody can do it like easily or repeatedly. So okay, cool. So anyways, so we can pretend we're still the blue teamer. We're on the box. We can say let's just assume we already. Okay, actually, let me pull something out really quick. Although I don't know, I don't want to pull up anything actually.
Hey, Jesse, quick question.
Yeah.
Could you, for me personally, I haven't played with a Velociraptor in a long time. Can you talk about like what it's used for and some background on that?
Yeah, for sure. So we go back here. Let's go ahead, lab 1. Let's go ahead and go to dig deeper. So this is really great. I'm going to copy this, paste it into the channel. So really this is a digital forensic and incident response tool to do live incident response. It's a little different concept than the old school way of doing digital forensics in that back in the day, and people still do it, like for instance, when I used to work for UW Med Security, I used EnCase forensics, and EnCase forensics is mostly like you take a whole hard drive and you do the whole forensics bring it in, and then you take that like immutable hard drive and you can do whatever you want to it, like research and find artifacts and like do all your digital forensics on it. It really can't, it's not against the main system. You're not making changes. And it's a good copy to do investigations on. Where Velociraptor's a little bit different concept. It's kind of live forensics, where like you can put a like an exe, like you see right here up here. Uh, there's two models. Like you can have a server, and then you can have the server, have clients that are kind of bind to them. Um, and then everything reports to the server, or you can do what we're doing tonight, and that's have this a binary. It's just a binary, and this binary is actually the same binary that can be turned into a server, interesting enough. But you just have this binary, you run this binary as admin, and then you have your forensics going here, and everything's so so what's a little different than the old school way of forensics is like, now that you're doing forensics on the box live, anything you do is being recorded on the box. So like the old school way of thinking is like, no, 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 we don't want to touch the box at all. You don't want to record anything on the box. You only want to have what's, in the forensic image of like that point in time snapshot, so that you can track and see everything the adversary is doing, right? Where this is more like, well, I'm just going to get in on the box. It's going to be live. I'm obviously you're going to want to like do a bunch of time stamping, like have like a notebook or something set up on the side and be like, yeah, okay, chain of custody, blah, blah, blah. And I need to do, today is 11, whatever, start, Velociraptor, ran, module this, did that, make a nice like, timeline of what you do, because again, everything you do on this system is live and recorded, and if you go back and you saw some artifact, you need to know precisely if you touched it already or not, because the story you tell could influence by like certain timestamps on artifacts. For instance, if a user got in here, or an attacker got in here, somehow they RDP'd in or whatever, and like let's say they downloaded a binary and it was our clone, or it's a U software that's part of the software on the system. So the forensic person would be like, yeah, I know they got in at this time, and so I'm just going to look around this time, and I'm going to look in what they call, there's a lot of like knowledge you have to know, and you have to like take digital forensics like training. Like there's this thing called prefetch, and what it's really doing in the background, it's like Microsoft's like, yeah, I'm going to do something ahead of time for the user, so that the next time they go ahead and click on a binary of that software or whatever it is, Arclone or whatever, I can go fetch it. I can, because I prefetched it, I can go fetch it faster next time. I already have this like cache memory of like how to get it. So what's cool about prefetch is you could go ahead and like with Velociraptor, you're like, okay, I have this time frame. Let's look at prefetch. Look for prefetch. You're like, yep, it looks like they did this. This leads to that, and you like start building a case for yourself. Hopefully that kind of works as an intro to what Velociraptor is. It's pretty much a digital forensics incident response tool. And it's free. That's a big thing. By the way, it's super free. Like I mentioned, Ncase. Ncase is commercial software and is expensive. Otherwise, if it wasn't, you'd be watching Ncase right now, because I have like years of training with Ncase, and I do not have that with Velociraptor. But it's free. All right, cool. All right, so we will go, now that we know what this is, we'll go back to here. So we could do this step by step. I'm going to not do this step by step, because we're going to assume some things. So like, for instance, I'm going to pull up a Google Slack. No, yep, here we go. All right, so we're just going to, so this is the scenario real quick. This is what we're gonna, for this whole like Velociraptor demo thing is, we're all gonna agree that bad things happen on the internet and 0 days may occur. And in our situation, they did, and they led to this Windows 10 box that we're on. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to add an account. We might add a scheduled task. I don't know. We're definitely going to add an account. We may do a PS exec thing. We may do RDP. We may do this like driver thing. LOL drivers.net, I think it's from. Anyways, we'll do that. I believe
HTA, I think.
there you go. Yep, HTA. Absolutely. Cool. And yeah, so that's kind of the preface here. We're not going to worry about trying to figure out how someone got in at the moment. We're just going to come in and we're going to like look for, add account, PS exec, some things. And we're also going to do the attacks because, well, I created the playbook. So first thing though, I'm going to do a lot of hand waving at this point. So I'm just going to clear some logs because I want to level set the environment. So we're just going to take this. I'm going to move it away. I'm going to get back here on this environment. I'm going to go ahead and go to the first play, and there's the cleared logs. And I have that already on my system right here. So I'll just go ahead and I'll just open up this. Yeah, you can see my other fun stuff. Chainsaw is another cool detection tool, by the way. If you have a chance to take a look at that, I would say take a look at that. So this is going to run. So what this is funny enough. So this clear all logs deal, I made this back in when I used to be a red teamer for, since this takes so long, I'm just going to make this story time. So there's this other competition called National DC Cyber Collegiate Defense Competition is what it stands for. And why this is pausing now, okay, is beyond me. But that thing's still clearing in the background. So yeah, so this is the other competition that's out there. And what's crazy about this competition is like the red team doesn't get like what they get at Cyberforce. Basically, they assume you have your own bag of tricks and you're coming to the competition loaded and ready to rock. Yeah, it's interesting. So here though, I was on so it's broken up into regions, as you see right here. It's kind of, I like to describe it as it's kind of like football. It's like different regions have playoffs, and then the playoffs like culminate in this Texas area where that's the Super Bowl, basically, of red versus blue kind of deal. But since I live in Washington, I did the Pacific Rim team for a long time. So like if you go Twitter, PRCCDC, this is their Twitter deal. And as you can see, that stuff is still clearing in the background. Oh my gosh. Oh my. No, I don't want to log in. Stop. Really? Is this what it does? This is what we're come to today? All right. Has this stuff cleared yet? Nope, it hasn't. I really don't want to log in. Oh, cool. Anyway, so this is what the red team. Oh my gosh. Fine.
Yeah, X is like that now.
Wow. That's uncool of them, I think, in my personal opinion, but that's just me. Okay, so is this thing still clearing? Yep, it's still clearing. There's a lot of logs. Anyway, so I created that thing to go in PRCCDC. I was on the red team, and so so to clear my tracks, I created that to help others. As you can see in this picture, a whole bunch of red teamers. I'm right here. Notably, It's a Feature was there, right? I'm about to dox everybody. Jeff from SpectreOps is there. There's all sorts of SpectreOps people here, but this is a crazy, awesome competition in that you just get to hang out with like-minded individuals. But okay, that's it. The logs have cleared, and that's kind of how I came up with that log stuff originally. Was there. So enough with that. Now that we've cleared the logs, we'll go ahead and go back to here, or back to the lessons area. Okay, so we prepped our environment. So all we're going to see in the logs is what I want to see in the logs. And let's go ahead and here's the exploit. So I actually don't even know if I can get this to run. I wonder if I can. Do I have this on? Let's find out. So I'm doing the quick and dirty, so we just see the stuff later on in Velociraptor. Atomic. Oh no. Atomic runner. Atomic test. Oh, cool. All right. So let's just do that really quick. So these numbers, I have another talk that talks about this whole atomic red team stuff. But basically, they're a bunch of scripted cyber attacks that are very much known TTPs that probably most likely ransomware people would use to do bad things on systems. But so what I'm doing now is I'm just doing 1070, which, as you can see here, says clear logs, and specifically it's clearing the system's logs. So there's that. Yeah, so blue team will notify of the next hunt. I'm just going to skip that part of the blue team is going to do that because we'll go into that here shortly. I just want to go ahead and grab some more stuff. So this is the ISO, like basically launch a link from within an ISO kind of thing. So this was a neat thing. The lesson here is, right, if your Windows machine doesn't need to mount an ISO, please don't do so. Please don't have that mounted. And that's mostly for admins of Windows systems. So, okay, so the quick hint of what I'm doing here, I'm actually getting the prereqs because I don't remember if I have everything, like this ISO deal, and I had to pull it from somewhere and put it on the disk. So that's why I do this, and then I'll just run it. So I'll run it. No, and I won't run it in that screen. It's awesome. So we'll run it in this screen. We won't. Yeah, and if you want to know more about them, what you could do is like instead of like the get prereqs, you could say show details, details really, and then it'll go into like, hey, the commands that are being used for this attack commands on this line are it's mounting the disk image path, so forth and so on. It just goes into everything that it's going to do programmatically. Yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, if you're interested, that's how you kind of look to see what it's doing. And it's also they got cool cleanup commands too, where they'll dismount the deal. Jeez, let me. Can I copy, paste? All right, cool. So let's do that. Something should pop up here, kind of indicating. Oh, what happened? So this isn't good. Demo gods. Even though this is green, let me make sure. So if I open this up and look under here, do I have another? I don't have another drive open that I was expecting. So I'm gonna just look at this really quick. The script contains malicious content and has been blocked by your antivirus. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. Let's remove that really quick. So let me go back to Velociraptor, and we're going to make that go away. So what I do is I basically do this command here. I basically take all of the definitions away. Oh, geez. What in the world? Copy and paste is my friend. All right, so I'm just going to do the right click, copy. Okay, so we're going to CD into, we're not. So you need to have quotes if you have spaces. All right, cool. And then we'll go ahead and run this. So basically this just removes all the virus definitions. So like, it's like, yeah, no virus, no definitions. So cool. This way I don't have to deal with like, turn Windows Defender off. Oh, it turned back on. Oh, all these other things. Although it may do it again, but typically it doesn't. All right, so, okay, cool. So let's now, let's run that prereq because I just don't know if that got stopped too. So prereq, and then we'll run the test. And this time, fingers crossed, it'll actually go through and something will pop up. I didn't see anything, but is there a new drive? Yep, right here, all the things. So that wasn't there before. So like if I ran this again, most likely all the things will happen again. Let's see. Hey, all the things. Oh, now it's gonna get like, hey, you're doing this over and over. And then just for giggles, if I do this plus clean, whoops, clean up, and it should remove. Oh, it removed one of them. Cool. And I'm just going to leave that. Cool. We'll just leave that there. So anyways, back to putting more stuff in here. So we go back to here. Basically, then we were supposed to engage the blue team and ask them if they found this ISO attack. And to tell them, hey, please run this Velociraptor deal. Very specifically, find out what's in this area. And then the solution area here is, this is what we're hoping. The information we get back from the blue team is something about VHD, something about all the things ISO like you saw earlier. And then we kind of score them based off of that. So like if they couldn't find it at all, obviously no points, but if they, hopefully they do, most likely they will, because we're just kind of trying to really help them get points. And so we just say, great work. So forth and so on. And then there's always like a help menu to like figure out things. I typically make a video to help the red teamers figure it out. And then if there's any other kind of issues, then it's like, hey, contact me. Although they couldn't contact me this time. So that I don't know how that went. But anyways, so let's go ahead and put a couple more things in the queue here just to kind of go through our whole, like, back to the diagram. Hey, let's do PS exact or whatever is next. So let's go ahead and grab that. We will, I wonder, let's just for giggles, run, paste, go. Hey, look at that. So if anyone ever was wondering, how can I download PS Exec without a browser? That was how you can do it. And now it's there. So cool, we have that. And we could, then I'm just going to run it so that we're going to pretend again, someone got in, they got on the system, maybe they dumped creds or whatever else they did, and now they're going to go ahead and they're going to PS exec somewhere. So let's just copy this, copy, go. Oh, what happened? PS exec, the term. Oh, it's because I'm not in my area. So CD downloads. That looks like it works. Okay, cool. Wait, not cool. PS exec, the term. Oh gosh. Okay, period slash is what you need. Bam. Okay, so this is very important. This license agreement is what we'll search on later on. That way you're like, hey, my system should never have PS exec. Why did I see that somebody accepted this agreement? No good. So anyways, run that. There goes PS exact. So that forensic stuff should be there. That's great. Oh, I guess I forgot to tell it to do something at the end there. Whoops. Anyways, and then let's add an account. Let's add an account. Just the old regular way. Let me cancel out of this thing. I don't necessarily need that anymore. So we'll go ahead and we'll add an account with a great password, as you can tell. We'll go ahead and put that account in the local administrators group. As you can see, completed. And then let's give it RDP access. Copy. All right. So a lot of good stuff. What we need to do for like traversal of things if we want. Cool. Yep, I'm there. Nice. All right. And then the last artifact that we'll put in is I'll do this RDP. What? That is not ideal. Okay. So, interesting. Well, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna look in my Proxmox and see why. Why? Okay, so this is the regular. So let me get out of here. Let me open up this
Isn't there
other.
like a bunch of command line switches you need for MSTSC?
No, I don't think so. But I needed the right IP address. But this looks like it the right one. But the other thing that probably isn't in play here is the settings. So like, here we go. Remote desktop settings. Okay, so it is enabled. Select users. Sure, administrator works. I don't know if it'll even like take this as a local user. No, it's not right now. It has to be on that account. Anyways, that's fine. I don't need that to be that way. And then the other piece is in the advanced. Okay, this isn't checked, so that shouldn't be a problem. So one more time, config, IP config. Whoops, IP config. Cool. All right, so no, that's 123. So what? Hang on, let me get out of here. Yeah, maybe it's the way I'm doing it out of PowerShell. I don't know. So let's just try this. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh. Hmm. How about we just use administrator locally? Maybe. I don't know. Give it a try. No. Neat. Feel. All right. Well, I don't need to actually go over there. I just needed this to actually like show up in like prefetch cache, whatever, like it's being ran, right? I don't know why I don't know the password right now for that. But anyways, so like okay, so we've put a bunch of stuff in there. Great. So let's go ahead and go back to this playbook. Oh yeah, we were at the end, so that's the end of that. But we are told to go into Velociraptor. We are told I won't go into this, starting it up. But basically, all it is so if you go ls, let's see here. Do I have it in here? Velociraptor? I do. So basically, it's just do Velociraptor there, and like you can do GUI. I think there's another command you can just, if you have like, you want persistent data, you can do that. But basically, it's just this with GUI, is how to start it. So don't really need to do that. So we're going to go ahead and hunt. So here, let's actually get into what we want to see here with this darn thing. All right, so let's get familiar with this. So right over here, we'll just kind of dig right in. Let me open up Velociraptor as I have it, or maybe I don't. So 127 is local, and then this is the port 8889. It's going to take a second. It looks like, okay, cool. It's still there. All right. For a second, I thought I'd have to show you how to start it. All right, great. I would encourage that, eventually, if you want to come back on your own time, check out these areas like, hey, building an offline collector or investigating more about VQL notebooks. And VQL is kind of their own query language and so forth and so on. So here we go. So this will get you up and running a little bit. So in Velociraptor, we have this thing. I think it's typically called Hunt or Collections. I can't really see it opening. Maybe, hang on. Let me click on this Velociraptor. I'm going to select Show All right now. It'll show. So if this was a server, it'd show a whole bunch. But this is just this machine, so it shows this right here. So you can click on this machine, and this machine is, basically it'll just give you kind of an overview. Hey, you're on Windows. Hey, here's the host name. Hey, here's the domain it's on. Architecture 86 is good to know, especially for red teamers. And you can do various things based off of this screen. So here's the collections are collected. That's collected. Nope, still not. So I thought this had like a tip that opened up, but as you can see at the bottom, it does say hunts, but I thought maybe that was a different version. Anyways, while we're on this screen still, we can go ahead and do like shell. We can say, like I did right here with a who am I. So like whatever you want to do, it's almost like a C2, like command and control. So whatever you want to do, whoops, on the shell, you can do on the shell. So I did a who am I, and then I can load the output after it gets done doing its thing. Oh, and there's the check. Now check, it's done. Cool. So let's go back to that hunt. So I'm just gonna go back to show all. Click on this again. Doing repetition's good. Go back to the shell, and this was the last who am I. I'll just load output again, and there we go. So now this told me who I am, which I'm Gray Hats domain as the administrator in there. So cool. So yeah, lots of cool, whatever you can think of for PowerShell command. Go ahead and have fun with that. The other thing I like to dig into is this hunt field and the plus here, a new hunt. New hunt, we can say, let's base it off of what we're supposed to do here. So basically here I'm doing the new hunt. I'm doing the plus. Again, this is all repetition. It's really good to learn with. And we can look for cleared logs, it looks like. We'll do cleared logs. Why not? So I'll go ahead and go back here, and we'll do clear logs. And I'm going to click on start hunt immediately. That way I don't have to like keep saying, yes, please run. There's a lot of safeguards built in so that like if you're running this massively, like 15,000 devices, you don't want to accidentally do things. So it's got a lot of cool like built-in things to really make you do things. And I'll probably show that off too. So the next thing, we can run everywhere, but obviously it's going to only run on this operating system. And you can exclude stuff based off labels, but that's another thing not in this area. And so again, this is just really on this device. So this is the meat here though, is the select artifacts. So I like to just say Windows if I'm on Windows, and then all the things that have to do with, well, did I press enter? Dot. Most things. And so what's happening here is there's some kind of Yara thing in here. So if like in here somewhere, this said Windows, like right here, then that's what it found. So like you were probably like, there's no Windows in that name, because it's doing some kind of like search through everything. So, but what we want is clear logs. So Windows clear. Okay, cool. Event logs cleared. So we'll select that. And WDigest is another fun one. We didn't do that this year in Cyberforce. I did it last year in Cyberforce, where basically you can make it so that when anybody logs in, they log in their clear text password, goes into LSASS. So when you like use Mimikatz, you dump it as plain text. It's really terrible that this isn't all Windows machines, and you can just turn on the registry key to make it happen. Really terrible situation to be in. So that's another good hunt to do. And in fact, we could. I'm just freewheeling here. I gotta love when I freewheel. So we'll say WDigest. Yep, Starkiller has it too. So basically I have, to check it, and then I can add it. So copy, we'll go in here. Copy is so great. So great. No. Let's try this again. And I'm going to make this smaller so I can just paste it over. Okay, copy, right click. What? All right, so we'll do the old school. So yeah, if anybody wants this is an amazing trick. Ah, terrible. Well, we'll skip that for now. But what I'll do in the meetup text, 1, 2, 3, I'll just go ahead and put it in there. You can have fun with it later. So it's in the meetup text. So back to our regular scheduled program, back to Velociraptor and cleared logs. Sorry for that road trip there, but that is worth noting. You can do a bunch of other stuff. You can configure the parameters. We're not going to really go into that. I didn't go into it with what did I do? Cleared space. Okay, back up. What? Oh yeah, see, it's highlighted. So I'm going to click on that because you can click on multiple things and click multiple things. So now when I go back to configure parameters, now it's only the event logs. So see, I could have made a mistake and ran that immediately. That would have been terrible. So great. So yeah, anyways, lots of cool parameters again. So you can say, hey, the day after this, the day before, so on and so forth. But we'll just go right to the launch button. And it just goes right into launching. Typically, if we didn't select that, do it immediately, we would have to then press like this play button up here to actually make this go. So I'm going to select this, click on this. I'm going to go down and check out some things that I check out is I check out this part that says state running. And then I also check on the right side under results for total scheduled and then finished on. And so it sounds like it finished. So that's great. So when it finishes, I like to go into notebooks. So notebooks is a neat thing where you can see kind of the artifacts. So like we can see, hey, this was a security log. It had this user in it. This is the SID, all useful information. But what I'm looking for specifically, there it is, log cleared, right? So this is actually the very specific log that the Atomic Red Team one did. It specifically did just system versus our like thing that did like all the logs. So I think, does this show all the, let's see here. I'm gonna see if it shows all, hang on, limit 50. Okay, so when I cleared, it didn't detect that. Interesting. Anyways, but it did detect what I wanted to detect, and that's this. And so yeah, so you can be like, oh my gosh, who's this person? Why are they doing it? I didn't give that person admin creds. If this is Cyberforce, then you're assumed you're breached and somebody stole your credentials, so you better change your password and kick the red team out, however they are in there persistently, right? Look for other accounts and so forth. And so that would lead us into, oh, should we look for other accounts? Sure, probably. So let's just jump over back to, and I like to, I'm going to click up here under the hunt ID, and it does say that it's like still running, and I just like to just say stop because it already got what I wanted it. So I just stop it. Typically, I have to do that. But let's go ahead and go to another collection, and we will, since we're like, oh, well, maybe they have a persistence by adding an account. So let's do that. Let's look for that. So what I'm going to do to like transition over to there, I'm going to go to the CTF portion of this deal. And so in there, we have this Velociraptor GitHub. It is right here. This is the analyst MD. And specifically, here's the collections of all users. So we'll go ahead and grab from that. So back to Velociraptor. We'll call it this exact thing. We'll just say run everywhere, don't care, because it's just doing the one. I'm going to not do the start hunt immediate, just so that you can see what happens. And then we'll go select artifact. Then I'll paste in this exact thing. And here is that exact thing. I'll collect it. So what this does, it lists all the user accounts. And then it outputs it. And there's some other interesting stuff here on this. So, oh yeah, and then there's this profile list, right? So this is the actual reg key that it's grabbing it from. And so for me in digital forensics, when like there's an intrusion and I can't tell if somebody got added some local account, I would often go to this particular area to parse to see if there are any more things like we will do. So let me go back to configure parameters. All right, that looks good. I didn't add any extra stuff. So we're gonna go to launch. So I clicked launch, but as you can see, it says paused. So this is what happens when when we don't do immediate. So from here, since we have it highlighted, we can go ahead and say run hunt. And then here's that safeguard thing that I mentioned. Like if we're doing lots of these or lots of machines, we want to be very sure that we're running the right stuff. So basically, hey, are you sure you want to run this stuff? And I'm like, yes, please, let's run it. So we're running it. It's doing its thing. I'm just going to wait. Finished, huh? Is this finished? This was the other one, I'm sure. We'll go into Notepad. So Notepad again is awesome. It kind of shows the stuff. Okay, so hey, look, they did add somebody. They had someone called Jesse. What's up with that, right? What? That's not good. This is not an approved account. This needs to be removed. Oh, Purple Goat says, look, this is familiar. Yes. So in the chat, I see Purple Goat commenting our domain stuff. They are some students at the University of Washington Bothell that I help build their environment, and we do CCDC competition practices together where I do red team stuff and help them detect and prepare for competitions. So very fun stuff. I also have done a presentation on Velociraptor there. So anyways, back to our scenario. Back to our cool, I guess you could say, the diagram. Hey, got on the box. They added an account. Let's look for some more stuff. And so back to the CTF. So if you go in here, I want to kind of show off what they're showing off. And that's, you can use what they call this VQL query stuff. So yeah, this is powerful. Yeah, you can find stuff like we did, but if this is like thousands of machines, it's going to be a little harder to parse through the data. So what you're going to want to do in that situation is kind of fine tune it. So this is the VQL, and this is the way you like comment out things, is this. But it's very reminiscent of like SQL. So select everything from a specific artifact called the thing that we ran from our collections, and then limit it just to 50. Cool. It seems kind of okay to understand, but it can get more complex. So you can be like, yeah, I want the UUID, I want the, M time, I want all these extra things, and I want to group it by these things. And then go ahead and I'll save, and it'll run it. And so now, as you can see, it looks a little more manageable, right? And you can actually see more things. And these are very useful. These, 1001 is like the very first user ever added to the system. And as you can see, Jesse is the second user added, and in this case is not, it should not be there. So, yeah, so good stuff. Another cool thing from Velociraptor. Love what they do with this. Super cool. So let's go ahead and get back to this CTF. So what's going on here? So I'm not in the real CTF. Where is it? This is the real one. All right. So now that we're back into the real CTF, let's go ahead and see what's this next one. Get users who logged in recently. So I guess this isn't going to work because I would actually have to have someone log into this machine from somewhere else. So that's not going to, although this is live, right? So if you're fighting the adversary live right now on this box, we can do that. So this is 103. And so if I do this live, great, I'm doing it live. We'll go onto this Windows server and use RDP. No. Boy, this is not looking too hot, is it? Good Lord. All right, 192.168.0. What? Is it this one? One, two, three? Is this the Velociraptor one? No, 103. All right, so let's do 103. 103. All right, go. Probably gonna regret this, but we'll find out. Yep, gonna regret this. All right, I'll try one more time, but then it's probably a demo fail. So gray hats, administrator, some silly password. Okay, cool. I guess we are getting in. Great. Connect. Please connect. Okay, so we're gonna say we're connected. I'm gonna go ahead and yep, here we are. As you can see, this was where we were, but I'm gonna get out. So let's get out. Get out. Cool, we're out. Right on, and back to the other screen. No. So I lost it. So this is, let's go ahead and open this up. Externally, 103. Yep. Only authorized people only. Cool. All right, let's get in here. Let's check this out real quick and start wrapping things up. So what we're going to do is we're going to see who's logged in to further play around with this VQL stuff. So let's go ahead and first, though, what is it? We need, again, I can't see it. It's up here. Okay, so to get, okay, so we need right here this collection. So let's get this SAM collection. So back up here, we'll do a collection, new hunt. We'll call it what it is. We'll start the hunt immediately this time because we don't want to be slow like we were before. I'll select the artifacts, speed racing through here. Here's the SAM, select the SLAM, and then we'll just launch. So it's going to launch. Oh, this all users is still going. So I'm just going to stop that because that doesn't need to go anymore. So selecting SAM. Oh, recalculate sometimes needs to happen. Okay, cool. So something went through. Here's the SAM, built-in accounts, blah, blah, blah. All right, great. So let's go back to the CTF and let's actually run this whole VQL. Last login, we're going to have to probably change that a little bit to today's date. So let's go ahead and open up the this deal here. And we're going to say last login date is 11/7. And then we'll save it. Or not. Last login, that seems right, unless my computer's date is silly. November 7th. Okay. Let's login date. Maybe it's this deal that's a little wacky. No! Of course. Fail. Let's see if I can use the future. Might help if I save it. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. Wait, did this even stop? I don't even see here. It's running. Finish clients. Let me stop it. Let's do the notebook again. Okay. Jeez. Okay. Creation time, Sam. Great. What are these times? Oh, these are in like UTC, I think. I'm not even sure. Yeah, I'm a little confused here. So we're gonna go ahead and speed race across this. So, all right. So now you know what VQL is. You saw some stuff with um, finding the cleared logs, and let me get back here. Count logs. We did the LOL deal. Oh, I did not do the LOL. Actually, we'll finish with that. So let's go back to this lab. We'll go down here. We'll hunt with Velociraptor. And anybody can have this, by the way, like this whole thing, like copy. And I'm going to put it in the text meetup. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to fast track this and we're going to get where we're going to select the artifacts. We'll do the events cleared. Let's see here. We're going to get Windows events, but we're going to modify it. We're going to modify it to get these very specific Windows events within here. And you'll see that here shortly. So, all right, let's get back to it. So, is going on with my Velociraptor. Oh, this is the wrong screen. All right, so, oh yeah, we're going to collect it. We're going to collect, I'm not going to collect that. Oh, I didn't even copy that. That's unfortunate. So let's go back here. I was on the wrong screen. We'll go back here. Fast forward. This is all the blue team gets to have this fun stuff and they can mess around with it later. This is all for learning opportunities for folks. So yeah, so we're going to do this. We're going to start immediately. Hopefully now you're a pro because you've seen this done so much. We're going to go Windows. And I'm just going to say clear. Event log, not actually, I want event logs. Event logs. Right? Isn't that it? Come on. I want event logs. Windows. Okay, so let's make everything.
You got it deaded. There you go.
Is that what happened? I feel like what? Oh, it's here. Okay, cool. Yeah, great. And so this is where this configuration is kind of neat. We can go in here and we can be like, well, yeah, I can like get all the event logs, and you saw like all these event logs. Like there's so many, it's crazy. And so in some cases it's worthwhile if you know where to go, then figure that out and go there. So I'm going to add that to here. Let's see. Let's go back to the lab. So here's the lab. Oh no, I wiped it out. So let's go back. Let's go back here and just at the end there, not all of them, but this very specific one. So cool. That has been done. We'll go ahead and we'll do the launch from here. Launch. And let's make this bigger. Let's go up here. Doing the thing. We'll let this go for a little bit. And basically, we were told to tell them, hey, what activities do you find? And report it to the red team. Here's a hint. The manual way to look for this is look here, and you may find some extra drives. And then, at the end, it's like, hey, great, well done. Well done. And now you can do this later on your own. All right, so let's recalculate. All right, cool. So here we go. Then we just parse through the data. We could run some extra queries through VQL, and I'm not a VQL pro at all. Ncase did not do that for me, so that is not something that I know how to do. But if I did, I would use that so that I could parse through all this to kind of find, well, basically I would look for what I think I already like this is obviously the issue, right? All the things ISO. So I would probably, have some kind of fragments of whatever it was and search that way. So cool. There's that. I'm going to go ahead and pretty much say that this has been Velociraptor and just a sneak peek in how to use it in multiple ways and some neat things along the way. Any questions? Anybody doing digital forensics incident response out there?
I do a little bit. A little bit more on the backside of those things.
Okay.
Yeah, we just used that on an exercise a couple weeks ago. Well, I just caught the I caught the back end of the class, and we did leverage Velociraptor for the artifact analysis. We did run into the issue that the timing was all finicky. I think you also had the same issue that it was UTC and not your local time.
Yeah. Which is understandable.
Yeah, so for mine, I had to run like 8 hours prior in order to see the last hour of events. So that was very annoying.
Yeah, that's odd. Yeah, it makes sense like to use like the standard UTC because then like if you have servers in different regions of the world, then they all kind of if they speak that, then you can kind of compare things. But yeah, like in our situation, this one thing, and if we're in one region, it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, well, I wish you had the solution to change it to our time zone. I would totally use it.
Me too.
Right. Nice.
Jesse, are you currently using this right now and like at your work for forensics?
No, they use Encase primarily. Uh, yeah, and I've got lots and lots of training on it. I probably took like 14 classes, and I did forensics for 3 years. And it's an amazing tool, and I really like it. But it's commercial, so I can't show it off because I don't own it.
If you're looking for something that can do like a one-shot forensic image that doesn't cost money, Cape is pretty legit.
Yes, yes, I've heard about that. And I've seen some things that it does. I haven't messed around with it exclusively though.
I think one of the most fundamental exercises that I've got to do with it is just pulling like prefetch with browser history in a collection in Cape, and then putting that into Zimmerman's timeline tool. And you can actually just use an Excel spreadsheet to kind of watch the progress of where someone misclicked a link, bad stuff kicked off.
Oh, are you talking? It sounds like you're talking LM&R, so that's fun. Here's prefetch timeline like you're talking about. Keeps a record of systems. So yeah, cool. Yeah, that's a handy one. Yeah, we used to. Yeah. Anyways, I can't talk about it. But great. Yeah, prefetch is cool.
Any other questions for Jesse?
Yes. I do. I have a question.
Go at it.
Do clear logs mean literally they clear the logs?
Yeah, so I can name that whatever, but yeah, in here, yeah, if you look in here under system, it actually says it. Let me open it up. Clear log, right there. Yep. And then yeah, the system log was cleared. Yep. Good question. Yeah, and that's
How
the other
does
thing. Like, check this out. Do you want to sit in here and look through everything? Oh, you can't see that, but let me open up. Sorry, Sean, to cut you off there. I just wanted to show off. Oh my gosh, I don't have this running as administrator, so you can't see. Okay, anyways, here we go. Like, this is like, well, this is only, how many is here? Only 63 events, but there can be thousands here. And this is not fun to just do this, right? There's like a way to like do a custom view to like, to filter things, but it's unwillingly and nobody likes to do it. This would be much easier. Go ahead, Sean.
No, I was just going to ask what your thoughts are on this versus Encase. Is there a huge difference, or can you do pretty much like 99% of what Encase can do in this tool?
It's definitely a different kind of tool, and it does things a little differently. I haven't got to do the side by side on here yet, but it does make a lot of cool things easier, where there's like literally there's, you know, this kind of like click here to get the host file, click here to get an application Docker information, click here to get there's the Chrome. Where was the Chrome? I thought I saw Chrome extensions. Like, as an Encase person, at least back in the day, there were some Encase scripts that would do this, but a lot of times to find certain things, you would have to just kind of know where you're looking and how to parse things. But they did have a lot of scripts, but I think this makes it easier. Oh, hey, there's Cape files. Woot woot. It makes it easier. Good question.
Hey,
So
what?
used
I
to-
know this is a bit unrelated, but do you have any experience with X-Ways?
I've looked at it, but I don't have any experience with it. I
Okay,
know it's a
I was
cheaper
just curious.
tool. Yeah.
Yeah, I buddy of mine at work was like super hyping it up, so just curious.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. But I hear it's cheaper. It's definitely cheaper than Encase for sure, but it's not as cheap as Velociraptor, which is free.
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing that I love with Velociraptor is if you're manually trying to pull artifacts sometimes, like if you're trying to pull a Shrum database, you have to go through a whole process because it's currently in use in order to grab it. It's like there's so many extra steps. And with Velociraptor, it does all that for you. It's a SRUM.
Perfect. Yep. There's a I forget what it has to stop, or there's some process that is locked.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, so I know it's a pain in the butt, but Velociraptor makes it easy. So super awesome and cheap tool. I use it in all my like firing range stuff.
Oh, good to know. So we'll have you doing the next talk, advanced Velociraptor talk.
Oof.
Nice.
Well, cool. Much appreciated, Jesse. This is an awesome talk. Learned something new. Anybody have any other last minute questions before we wrap things up?
No, that's super interesting. I'm going to hit you up on the backside of all this and probably pick your brain like I normally do.
Nice party. Let's do it.
All right. Well.